What's up? Welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm him. Today is Saturday, May 30th. And yeah, I can't believe it's the end of the month so soon. It seems like the month just went by. Honestly, as I've gotten older, I'm noticing that time I experience time. Time I don't think is time isn't speeding up, but I experience time. My perception of it is that it's shorter. Feels like I just woke up on Sunday, and now all of a sudden it's almost Sunday again, and we're already halfway through the year in a day or two. I'm not sure if I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish by now. I was working under the I don't know. I thought I was gonna be able to get my product into mass production right now, manufactured, but hit a roadblock. I learned that I need to get well, I don't need to, but one of my production partners does not want to move forward with production until we have something to cover our ass, which I don't disagree with. So I get to work with the state of Texas, and specifically the what is that school? Texas A&M University. They are going to do some acidified foods testing for me, and I got to send some stuff off to labs so that they can give me some results on water activity. If there's like a certain pH that I need to meet, if there's a certain amount, like certain time of pasteurization that I need to do, or what temperature pasteurization I need to do, if there are any specific steps or special considerations I need to take as a part of my manufacturing process. It's a lot. And I realized today, which is not the best time to realize this, the lawyer who I'm supposed to be reaching out to, I got recommended through a network, someone else who I met. They own a water company, and he gave me his legal counsel. And I was supposed to call him the day after I got it, which I think I got it on Wednesday. And it's currently Saturday. So I realized today that I kind of dropped the ball this week. So yeah, that's not going to be fun on Sunday explaining to my team, my partners, that hey, yeah, I got the contact info, but no, I have not actually reached out yet, and I do need to reach out because I need to do this whole process. Anyway, all that to say, I am back for another live stream. I figured I would try to keep the momentum going, given that I've done a live stream at least 3 times this week. So this will be 4. Yeah, I think 3 times this week. So I'm figuring I'll try to give it a shot, try to make it till Sunday, or just see how long I can keep this up. It is getting a little bit hard, but it's fine. So what I'm probably going to do is what I did yesterday. I don't really have much of an agenda unless there are folks here who want to talk about certain things. I'm happy to chat. But in the meantime, I'm just going to watch some videos that I've been putting on my watch later playlist for the past few days, specifically for these live streams. And what I've noticed is over the past 2 or 3 live streams, I'm averaging about 90 minutes to 2 hours. That seems like it's long enough for me to feel like I've accomplished something, but it's not too long where I feel like I am wasting my time and not getting other things accomplished. So this is probably going to be about a 2-hour stream, maybe a little bit less. And I may do that going forward. That'll make it a little bit more sustainable versus what I was doing in the past, where sometimes my streams would be, sometimes it would be 40 minutes. Sometimes they could be a couple hours. Sometimes they could be 6 hours. I had one 9-hour stream. You can go find it if you really want. So I'm going to try to time box these with the intent of maybe starting to clip some of these live streams. That'll make it easier. Maybe. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop into things. Let me open up a browser. Oh, I see there's some folks here. Hello. Oops. Uh, what is this? Okay, here we go. So where did I leave off? Okay, I think I left off here. Yeah, the supply chain. Yeah. So we finished that one. So let me go ahead and remove this. I should have did that last night, but I didn't. And I kind of want to watch this Toure video. I know for some of y'all may be like, this isn't your cup of tea, but no one said what they wanted to see or do. So I'm going to watch this. He's an amazing storyteller, and he's kind of funny to me. He has some ideas and things that I'm not really, he's for the culture. He's a hip hop person. He's a culture guy. But I like him. He's articulate. He's a storyteller. Let's see what he has to say about Cheyenne Bryant. I think that's who he's talking about. Yeah. Cheyenne Bryant.
Meeting on this.
First of all, Toure, first of all, Toure.
Why don't you let me wrap the show? I'm ending the show. What is the point of interrupting me? We're getting out of here. Like, what is the point? What is the point? I said, go to host up.
When you're talking to me.
That's me and Cheyenne Bryant fighting on TV. This was last year, 2025. I was the host of the show. She was the #1 permanent guest. She was on every episode. She and I were the heart of the show. This car crash moment happened as I was pulling into the very end of the show during the last episode of the season. The producer was telling me to wrap because we had to stay on time. It was over. And Cheyenne knew we had to wrap because of time. She had been told many times.
Let me give some backstory. I don't really know who Cheyenne Bryant is. I just have heard of her, and I don't know much about her. From what I understand, she was like a famous doctor. I think she was like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant or something. I don't know. I don't know what she's a doctor in. And it doesn't really matter what she's a doctor in because it's just come out recently that she was bullshitting. It was all fake. She was lying. She's not a doctor. Let me go figure out, let me do some research first because I don't actually know who. I'm just jumping into this blind. I don't know who the hell Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is. I just have heard of her. And whenever I see a Toure video, I kind of just watch it. I'm sure some of y'all understand, there are certain YouTubers who are on YouTube and they'll release a video and it's like, well, that's all it takes. Toure is one of those YouTubers for me. Like anything he releases, I'm going to watch it. Okay, so let's see what this controversy is. So it's about credentials. Okay, what did she lie about though? Credential. Okay, so she faced public scrutiny regarding questions about her academic credentials, professional licensure history, and use of the title Dr. Bryant has defended herself publicly, arguing that her impact, lived experience, and years helping others should matter more than the institutional validation alone. While critics have questioned transparency and accountability in the wellness and relationship advice space. I'm getting old. I gotta, I'm over here. I cannot read. It's because I can't see. Okay. Okay. What kind of doctor is she though? Is she a PhD doctor? Over the last decade, mental health gatekeepers, something TikTok. Okay, whatever. Psychology of credibility. Okay, it's not telling me what did she lie about though? Oh, is she going around calling herself Dr. Bryant because she has a PhD? And maybe some people are confused that you can be a doctor with a PhD. I'm not clear actually, like what the controversy is. And now I'm wondering if I'm about to waste my time watching. I'm never going to waste my time watching the Touré video. It's Touré. Let's get into this.
Not interrupt Touré as he's wrapping the show. It was written in the script, in every script. Do not interrupt Touré as he's wrapping the show. She and I and the producer had a whole meeting mid-season about don't interrupt Touré when he's ending the show. I tried to avoid her interrupting me by tossing the last question of the show to her so she would feel like the show had ended with her getting to speak a lot.
Doc, what do you think about the...
I love how he framed that. The show would end with her getting to speak a lot. It's not so she could get the last word. It's so she can speak a lot. That's why I love this, man. That was some shade, by the way. In case y'all didn't catch it, he was throwing shade in that.
So she would feel like the show had ended with her getting to speak a lot.
Doc, what do you think about the notion of holding parents criminally responsible for their children's behavior?
I was constantly thinking of ways to placate her massive ego.
I said it earlier. I said it's circumstantial. I think that if a parent...
Let's just pause here. Okay? I want to just pause here. And let's look up something. Yeah, she kind of got that Shiva look. Let me do a little bit of that. Get some side by side action. Oh wait, no, Mo. Oh no. Actually, I have even better one. This is Goro. Or is it Guru? I don't know, Goro. Movie, yes. Because he had that pony. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Wait a minute. It's the one where he was screaming. What just happened? What just happened? There we go. We'll just go to images. Maybe that. We'll just do images. Come here. All right. Oh man. Wait, no, I don't want a video. Just give me like an image. I thought that's what I clicked. I click on image. Why is this showing me video? Dang, the one that I want, I can't. It's a video. Google is trash these days. Why am I in images search, but it's showing me video? And the video is showing me it's only on YouTube. It doesn't show me anything else. I guess we could use this one. How about that? It's the same type of big ass for
is neglecting their child of what's needed for them to be mentally stable and healthy and be in a state of mind where they can actually, operate as a citizen who isn't impaired, then I think that that parent who's providing those resources, should not be have consequence or discipline.
She doesn't really know where she's going.
Again, if you're neglecting your child in any manner, I think there should be consequences to a parent, no matter what, if there's neglect at the hands of a child. But y'all know how I feel.
She's not answering the question. She's babbling right now. That's what that is. The question is very clear. Should parents be essentially penalized criminally for the things that their children do? My take is parents should not be held responsible for things that their children do after a certain age. No, I think while they are, let's say, once they get into high school, like maybe, yeah, sure, that's arbitrary, but yeah, sure. Once they get into high school, I think at that point, maybe it should be more accountability on the children, right? Like send them to juvenile. That was a thing when I was growing up. I don't know if that's still a thing in this country. Let's see. Is that still a thing in America? You know, we made all criminality. We eliminated all crime. It's not illegal to do anything. You can break the law, and nothing will happen. So I'm not sure if we still have juveniles detention centers. I guess we still do. Okay, so I think that's a better solution. You know, once they get like let's say 16. All right, I think that's a good age. Once they get 16, no, you're gonna get treated very similarly to an adult. We may not send you to an adult prison right away, but you will go to the adult prison. I am all for if these kids want to be out in the streets doing dumb shit, let's send their ass to juvenile detention center until they're old enough to be sent to jail. And when I say jail, I mean prison. Let's be clear. They deserve prison. That's actually what they deserve. Their actions are deserving of prison. They should be chained up in a gang and forced to do manual labor. I wouldn't be mad if their only thing to do was just to make a bigger rock a smaller rock. Or they can dig ditches. You know, we got a lot of things that we can use slave labor for here. Maybe they can start filling the potholes. Let's make these antisocial degenerates, these parasites to our society. We can actually get some benefit from them. We can make it more of a mutual type of situation, right? Where it's like you get to break the law. Okay. Your penalty is we get to enslave you. You get to fill the potholes on the street. How about that? You get to do all of the jobs that the government is opening our border to allow random people from other countries to do. How about that? I wouldn't be mad at that. For whatever reason, she's talking around the question that Touré asked, which is normal. It's on brand.
The parenting makes for a gentle child.
Unsure of where to go, but desperate to keep talking, she has for some reason looped back into the argument that we had been having all season long, even though it had very little to do with what we were talking about. But she brought us back around to gentle parenting, whatever that really means, because she wanted to take one last jab at me, bringing up the issue that she knew might trigger me because it usually did, because she was so incredibly wrong. All season long, I argued that children should never be spanked or hit, which is what the entire modern child psychology field believes.
No child development researcher would ever tell you that spanking is a good idea at this point. It only leads to negative behaviors in the child.
But she said that this is where, like, really listening to what people say. She said, at this point. That doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It just means that just at this point, this is what people think. Just like at some point in time, people thought that the world was flat. Just like at some point in time, people thought that the rest of everything in the galaxy revolved around the Earth. So, you know, saying at this point in time, that's kind of like it doesn't matter. I am of the mindset that she's right in a book, but we don't live in a book. We live in reality, right? You're right. You should not spank your children. You should. That's the operating word. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Please understand what the word should means. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't speed. No, you shouldn't stay up all night. No, you get where I'm going? You shouldn't have unprotected sex. You shouldn't drink. There are a lot of things we shouldn't do, but we live in reality. So I'm of the mindset it's like, hey, like, yeah, I shouldn't spank you. I shouldn't have to spank you, but hey, I mean, sometimes Maybe, I mean, all the other things didn't work. Maybe this will work. Maybe, and if it doesn't work, then we could try other things. But for whatever reason, that it tends to always work, and it tends to be always women who don't want that, which explains why we live in a degenerate society that we do now. If you can't hold yourself to a fucking standard, then everything else falls, because the only reason why we have the things that we have is because we have a standard. And it's become very evident to me that they don't have standards. If they did, I don't think we would be seeing them slut themselves out on OnlyFans, but that's what they do.
Is a good idea at this point. It only leads to negative behaviors in the child.
It always made me suspicious of her credentials to hear her advocate for violent parenting. What person who's educated in the field of child development would do that?
I think that there are rules and in their structure, and there's a thing called boundaries, and boundaries have been proven to create healthy relationships, not just between people, but for that.
The burden of proof for these people who don't have actual scientific degrees is very low. These are the same people who believe in horoscopes. Let's just be clear, right? Like the bar is low
Within themselves.
Okay, but boundaries don't really relate to corporal punishment. You're conflating things that are of different issues.
If we raise kids with no boundaries and no structure and discipline, they go out into the world and they don't understand that, and they end up being in battles, and they end up actually having a lot of issues with law enforcement.
Her point is right. Her point is right, but I think her solution is kind of not. Like, I think she's identifying a problem, and I think it would be bad faith for me and for Toure and others to not admit that, hey, like what she's saying is true. Just this part, right? Like, you know, obviously when you're having a conversation or in a long talk or whatever, there are going to be certain things that you agree with, certain things you don't agree with. And I think this is right here. We got to give grace. In this case, we could just look and see that's the reality that we live in.
Completely untrue. People with law enforcement problems are far more often
Wait. I want to see what he's saying is completely untrue.
You're conflating things that are of different issues.
If we raise kids with no boundaries and no structure and discipline, they go out into the world and they don't understand that, and they end up being in battles, and they end up actually having a lot of issues with law enforcement.
Completely untrue. People with law enforcement problems are far more often the victim of abuse or violence in the home.
He's not addressing her point specifically, just that part, but I want to be clear that this is an entire conversation with context that I'm missing. But just based off of that segment, just that one little piece, he's not arguing her point at all. He's not even addressing this point. And I'm going to go through it again just to make sure I got the
that
point.
Are of different issues.
If we raise kids with no boundaries and no structure and discipline,
so we raise kids with no boundaries, no structure, no discipline. They end up having issues with the law. Basically, they end up becoming degens. That's the point that she's just making. Now, I'm not really concerned with her solution or like what she's planning to do about it right now. But just that point on its own, without any other, crap that's going on, because that was a whole conversation that they were having. I think that he is not addressing this point, but I do understand he's doing this in a much larger context of this conversation. So I don't think it would be fair of me to criticize him and say he's being disingenuous here, because it's for the whole conversation, I think.
And they don't understand that, and they end up being in battles, and they end up actually having a lot of issues with law enforcement.
Completely untrue. People with law enforcement problems are far more often the victim of abuse or violence in the home than not.
The jails aren't full of people who were gentle parented.
So did you notice what he said is let me put it back.
Problems are far more often the victim of abuse or violence in the home than not.
Law enforcement.
Often completely untrue. People with law enforcement problems are far more often the victim of abuse or
So he's saying that they're far more often the victim of abuse, but she's not talking about that. That's
violence in the home than not.
for that one point that he
Jails
clipped.
aren't full of people who were gentle parented. It's quite the opposite. They're full of people who were hit as children. Same things with shows like Beyond Scared Straight. Do you think those kids were being hugged every day? Those kids got beat. I'll promise you that.
The data shows that being hit as a child leads to prison much more than not being hit.
And that's and his point is correct too. But again, like I probably should watch whatever this show that he's talking about, because there's obviously some context here, and I want to be fair. So I'm gonna skip this one. I think this is something that I need to watch something else first, and then I can watch this. And maybe this will be something I make a video about. Maybe, who knows? All right. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna move on from this one, and yeah. What else is here? Go to one of the later ones. Yeah, beef. How about that?
In the US on average. You probably know beef is getting more expensive, but do you know why? Let's take a look at the meat aisle in this grocery store.
I'm just thinking of some reasons why beef is getting more expensive. All of the inputs have increased. So the feed, the getting all of the stuff to and from where it needs to go, logistics, transportation, that type of thing. Labor costs have gone up, so processing the end thing has gone up. And I imagine there is some more regulations that these farmers are subject to. So that drives up costs. And I imagine that there is increased pressure from the consolidation that's been going on. So, as a company gets larger and larger, they get to exert more pressure on smaller ones. And that can cause some of those smaller ones to basically become forced to sell, and they get swallowed up. It can force others out of business, which basically ends up with the same effect for the market, which is we have one less entrant. So that's my reason. That's what I'm thinking. Some of the reasons are also packaging, obviously, because fuel has gone up.
It seems like you have plenty of options, but most of this beef is processed by just 4 companies. Together, they control about 80% of the market.
So it's an oligopoly. Who would have guessed in this free country, America? We are so free. We can choose to get our beef from one of 4 people. That's how much freedom we have.
I call them the beef cartel.
The Big Four haven't been convicted of any wrongdoing, but the Department of Justice is investigating how this kind of consolidation impacts what you pay.
I want to go back. I know this is kind of off topic. It's tangential.
Department of Justice,
but like cows are really friendly. Did y'all know that? Cows are they're really friendly. They're curious. They're like animals are cool. That's all I can say. They're just like, I don't know. They're not like dogs, but in a sense they are kind of like dogs. Or they all have their own little personality.
Investigating how this kind of consolidation
I love how he jumps up and looks at the camera. Wait, I gotta look at that again. I'm gonna do it slow motion. He looks up at the camera. He's like, "Oh, I see you, homie. All right, let's do this at whatever that is, 60%.
The Department of Justice.
Look at the black cow. Look at him. Look at him. Pops up.
Kind of consolidation.
He notices the camera. Oh man, cows are fun.
Impacts what you pay. Not to mention antitrust and collusion lawsuits from retailers like Target and McDonald's. A pound of ground beef cost about $6.89 in the US on average. That's 80% more expensive than in 2019.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's 382. I'm gonna just let this marinate in your mind a little bit. Just let it steep. See that? That's a. I remember 2019. For whatever reason, it seems like it wasn't that long ago, and maybe I want to believe that I am not alone. If you're watching me, I'm curious, do you also feel that way? Like 2019, 2020, 2019 for me, because COVID started in 2019 for me. I was in Asia. So like I knew what was going on, and then when I came, it wasn't here, and then so I already knew what was going on. So it just, I don't know, it just seems like 2020, 2021, 20 like that. It's just all a blur to me. And it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it's been 6 years, 7 years. It's been 7 years for me, 6 years for y'all. Cause I think it was 2020 for y'all. And I'm saying y'all as if y'all are all in America. If you're not in America, then never mind. But if you are in America, I think COVID started in March 2020 for you. But for people in Asia, it was in, October of 2019.
For U.S. cattle ranchers, you'd think high retail prices would at least translate to more profit. But they say they're feeling the squeeze too.
The more them industries consolidate, the easier it is for them.
But all the cows are looking at the camera. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I know cows are funny to me, so I'm going to look at these cows.
But they say they're feeling the squeeze
Look
too.
at them. Look, they all look at the camera. They notice.
The industries consolidate, the easier it is for them to up the price and cut us out.
Droughts, high production costs, and fewer cows are pushing prices.
I didn't know we were in the middle of a drought, or maybe this is in the other areas. Actually, no. Has Texas been in the drought? I'm in Houston, so Texas is a very large state, and it's like 6 different regions, super regions. I'm kind of in the Gulf Coast, where it's green over here. Let me see, what was I about to do? Oh yeah, Texas drought. Let's see. Is there an almanac? Look at that. There's an online almanac. Let's see here. Drought, Texas. Wait, is this not an actual almanac? Historical almanac, maybe? Normally, typically an almanac has all the history. Okay, I guess there are no online almanacs. And if that's true, that this is an opportunity. All right, well, I guess we could just look at I don't know, data. So Texas drought history. I know we were in a drought like a decade and a half ago for a little bit. We did not have. It looks like I'm going to have to figure out how the hell to use this site. It's just a list of things. Give me a moment. Drought, online drought resources. We know what a drought is. Status, drought monitor, Texas drought monitor. Okay. This is today's date. Is this based off of 2026-05? Okay, yeah. So I can put in, wait a minute. Why are there 2 2026s? Maybe this is just today. So let's try 2020 this year. Yeah, just that many years ago. How about 2020? So we'll just make that 2020. We're in a drought. Abnormally dry, non-moderate drought. Not really. Yeah, not really. Let's see here. Maybe we can go to 2024. Let's just, I don't know why I had to do this twice. That's weird. 2024, 05, 2024, 05, 26. Maybe there's no, not sure. Maybe there's no date. Okay. All right, whatever. So we're not in a drought. Or no, that's not what I. Oh, we are in a drought right now. Holy shit. In the this is the Panhandle, by the way, up here. But I live down here. The one area where there's no drought. Okay, no wonder I don't feel it. Oh man, no wonder. If you zoom in here, right? I live in this white area. The only area, well, not the only, obviously, some of the hill country is not in a drought. But I'm in like this one little area where there's nothing. But everywhere else, yeah, we're in a drought. And we have exceptional drought in the Panhandle. This is bad. Near Amarillo and Lubbock. Interesting. Oh, you can kind of get a sense for the different regions of Texas here. You see here, and then you got this little section here in the middle, this west piece, the southern part, like the border, the coast, and then this northeast in Dallas.
Droughts, high production costs, and fewer cows are pushing prices up. But that's not the whole story. We follow the supply chain from the farm all the way to your table to find out what's actually making America's beef so expensive. To understand how the industry became so consolidated, we have to go back nearly 7 decades.
Before we go back 7 decades, I want to propose my conspiracy theory. I have noticed that the globalists have been pushing for us to eat not meat for a very long while. They've been demonizing eating meat. You know, saying that it's killing the planet. In reality, like, these animals will be on the planet with or without us. Right? So I'm seeing these people trying to get us to eat bugs and shit. These fake artificial foods, the what is that? The vegan shit, not the vegan, the fake meat, like all that crap. So I think part of it is an agenda at play to remove this wonderful source of protein and other essential vitamins and nutrients that we need. That when we eat properly and we use our muscles, we go out and exercise and shit, we are incredibly healthy. Like we're strong, we're robust, we're well built here in America. And I mean that seriously. I'm not saying this in like a oh, we're so great. I mean, like, literally, we're physically bigger. And I don't mean fat. I mean our bone density is much more than most other people on the planet. And a lot of that is to do with, you know, our lifestyle, our culture, the things we eat, how we exercise, how we carry ourselves, all of that. It all stems from what you put in your body. That saying, you are what you eat, is really relevant. So I think that there is an agenda of folks who want to control America, because for most of human history, there have been slaves, which is most people, and then the rulers, and then you'll have like some small little, you know, maritime, what do you call it? The aristocracy in the middle. That's most of human history. And for whatever reason, this experiment that started here in America, it went so well, and it damn near, basically they lost all their power because we weren't in debt to them. We didn't need their money. America is incredibly rich and wealthy. It just so happens that upsets some of the old world back in Europe. You know, the same folks who are in Europe doing shit, they're here now. And our wealth is being siphoned out of America. Just look at how much money you see that we've sent to other countries. And then consider the lifestyle that you live despite so much of our wealth being extracted. Imagine if none of that left America. Our cities used to be beautiful. I'm old enough to remember what our cities used to look like. It starts with what we eat. I think that it's an agenda. And I know that there's some other things at play, but I think a lot of it is driven by an agenda.
Before the 1960s, beef was shipped as whole carcasses to butchers who would divide and package it themselves.
You won't be disappointed in these steaks, ma'am.
When meat packers started cutting and boxing beef right next to the slaughterhouse, it transformed the industry, shifting control from local butchers to centralized plants. These large operations were far more efficient and made it harder for small ones to compete. The Nixon administration pushed.
So, efficient. Just think about the life that we all experience now. And I'm sure, all of our lives are great to some degree, right? I understand that. But what is efficiency really getting us, really? Do we need efficiency in all aspects of our lives? What do we need to do? Why must we be efficient? It's like efficient implies that we have to produce something at all times. The language that they use is kind of interesting. Just who cares about efficiency? I know who cares about efficiency, but it's probably not you. And if you do care about it, it's only because, I wouldn't say it's only, I'm just going to say it's probably because you're in a scenario where you're forced to care about it. But yeah, I guess we can now cut more steaks up. Okay. I'm not against it. It's just, I don't think that we need to always drive to efficiency everywhere, right? I think at some point we should also focus on other things. That's not to say that we completely ignore efficiency. It's just every once in a while we're like, hey, we've done the efficiency. Now let's see if it's effective. Okay, it's effective. Now let's see, how does it, let's look at the feedback. How does it working for our society? And, we go back and forth, we reprioritize so that we're always oriented in the direction of what is best for our society. But I guess we can't have that in a country that's been bought out by, well, I wouldn't say bought out, but we've been subjugated. It's definitely what happened in 1912, 13, 14, World War I, World War II. There's definitely some subjugation there. It's not lost on me that 4 of our presidents have been assassinated, and after each one of those assassinations, somehow our financial policy or our war fighting policy changes in ways that don't necessarily improve Americans' lives.
And made it harder for small ones to compete. The Nixon administration pushed for this kind of growth across the farming industry. During his tenure in the early 70s, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture routinely told producers to get big or get out. By the late 70s, consolidation in the meatpacking industry had started to take shape. Unlike today, the 4 biggest producers controlled just 25% of the market.
I think I'm a reasonable person. 25% is maybe too much even still. I am fine with there being incredibly large corporations or, entities that have centralized, whether they're doing, vertical integration or somehow they're doing, I don't know. Like, I think a quarter of a market, that should be a maximum. That should be a ceiling. And like anything that has a ceiling, I think it should be a gradation, right? So like at a certain point, we have a threshold. That 25%, that should be a hard no. It's just that's a ceiling. We should probably have a threshold type of thing where it's like, hey, it's at 17%. Maybe we need to understand why there's not enough competition. Maybe we need to reinvest in our economy so that whatever, or maybe try to get more people into that industry. We have a healthy margin, whereas, we want it to be at least 10%. I don't know, I'm just making up numbers, they're arbitrary. But 25%, I think that should be a max. But what it is today is just, I think it's unacceptable. Just remember, beef, let's not even say beef, a hamburger. A hamburger today is $10. In 2019, that would have been what? I can't do that kind of math in my head. $4? No, I'm not. I'm wrong. $2? Man, I can't do that kind of math in my head. I'm dumb. I'm not going to admit what I've eaten, but I'm not all here. I'm going to do the math. Okay. I'll just do the math. So we're 80% more, right? So we want to do 0.8 something. And what are we going to do? We're going to do like 4. Yeah. Okay, it would have been like between $5 and $6 in 2019. So your hamburger, 2019, between $5 and $6. Let's just split it in half. $5.50. Today you're paying $10. That's what this consolidation gets us.
Technological advancements in the 80s improved efficiency.
I guess except burgers aren't $10. Burgers are more than that now, right? I don't know what a hamburger costs. I do know that a pound of my hamburger meat that I get from my local farm is $9. And let me see if they have a website. Maybe they have a website, because I might be lying with, I don't know how much I pay. Is it Froberg? Froberg. Oh shit. Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe they have a website where I can like online store that. Maybe they don't have an online store. Oh, never mind. Start shopping. All right. I'm gonna start shopping. Let's see. Beef. Frozen. Okay, well, I guess it's only gonna let me buy things that they'll ship. Okay, never mind. So I don't know how much the beef costs. Yeah, I don't know how much the beef. I'm just gonna assume it's $9 for a pound. So that's just the hamburger meat. It's ground beef. Sorry, that's just the. I still have to like make it, roll it up, season it, grill it or fry it, however I'm gonna do it. Prepare, cook it, get my buns. There's still a lot of stuff I have to do. So when it's all said and done, that one burger is probably $10 for me to make it home. So if it's $10 for me to make it home, it's probably going to be $20 if you're out. Unless you're at a fast food restaurant, then you're paying the $10 that I'm paying. Except you're getting lower quality ingredients, which, if you want low quality food, then just remember, I said it earlier, you are what you eat.
And once bigger became cheaper, deregulation made it even easier for large companies to take over. Throughout this time,
Y'all remember Rocky Balboa? He was working around meat. Rocky. Meat scene. Man, no homo. Pause. No repeat, but he was in he was punching meat. Look, see? He in the meat. Punching it. Close your eyes and listen to him beat that meat. Anyway, all right, let's get back to this.
regulators and academics raised their concerns about the effects of consolidation, but it continued largely unchecked. After decades of mergers and acquisitions, today's Big Four have absorbed or replaced the previous dominant firms and boosted their market share to more than 80%.
80%. 80%. Basically, you have four options. Man, how have we allowed this to happen? You know what? I actually know how. I know how. It's my fault. I understand that, right? It's apathy. And I do understand that a lot of that was born out of literally demoralization, but I'm now starting to understand that that has been an attack on us from outside our country. I think it's that same war that's been being fought since the late 1800s. And when you think about it, who owns these publicly, like these public companies? And the name is so interesting because it's called a public company. I guess it's publicly traded, but the general public doesn't participate in that. It doesn't actually have any stake in that. Yet we call it a publicly traded company. And these things can be owned, and they're I don't know, somehow they're treated as people in our country. I don't understand that. They have almost the same rights as a person, but they're not a person. They don't have any of the accountability of a person. I mean, they're held to account in different ways, of course, right? Obviously, there are different things that they're held accountable for and above and beyond what we're held. Yes, I understand there's a different standard, but even still, the amount of just the worst of anything possible that can happen. It tends to increase as it's more corporate. Even where I live now, when I first moved here, I knew everyone. I knew all of the staff. Literally, I knew them. First name basis. I knew them. It was a legitimate community. The manager of the property lived here. And I want to say one of the other leasing agents lived here, and the staff, everyone, it was different. But we got kind of acquired by some corporate investor thing, and then now I guess I have a similar experience to most other people in America, where it seems like every service, every product is deteriorating. Yet we're paying more than we ever have for what? I don't know.
This lack of competition gives the Big Four a lot of power. But how does this make the beef you buy at the grocery store more expensive than it's ever been? To understand that, we have to go to the very start of the supply chain, where even before consolidation concerns, cattle ranchers are struggling.
We're 7 miles from the nearest asphalt road, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Eric Roper runs a cow-calf operation in South Dakota, and calving season is about to begin.
A cow's gestational cycle's 9 months. You get one crack at it, a year. My cows are out on winter grass. This is the easy time of year.
That looks like an amazing place to be. Doesn't it? Look at the beauty of our country. Seriously, look at how beautiful our country is. How many different landscapes and climates we have. How varied or just how unique some of our built environments are. The resources we have. We're a fully independent country. Seriously. I don't understand how I exist in a world where there are people who don't understand that there are other groups of people who would love America, are like what we have, to take it, and that they would do anything, even things that we can't imagine because they're different, right? We all, different cultures think differently about different things. We're all different. It's that we can't fathom that there are peoples out there who legitimately want what we have. That's not to say that's not everyone, obviously, but that there are people who want to destroy this nation so that they can claim it for themselves. I don't understand how I can live in a country where people cannot see that, and that's just not clear. I can see it because I see the media that a lot of y'all consume. I see it, and it's just like, oh my God. I'm starting to see some of the I don't know, those reels with people on the street being asked simple questions here in America, and let's just say the West in general, the West as a whole. Anyway, let's get back to the cows. The cows are beautiful. I love that this black cow is looking into the camera. Cows are, I told y'all, cows are actually kind of cool. They're fun. This landscape is beautiful. I want to go back a few frames.
My cow.
Look at this. It's beautiful. It's wow. We live here. This is our country. I don't understand why we're allowing fuckheads The UN. How about that? I will name them. Fuck all of them. I don't understand why we allow these globalist institutions to enforce anything on us, like to take away our sovereignty, to allow these parasitic bankers to extract our wealth. This is our shit. This is our land, and we're just letting it get take. We're yes. They're literally here. They're here in our country right now.
They're out on winter grass. This is the easy time of year, because as long as the grass is feeding them, I don't have to.
Grass is a precious resource when your ranch sits on a drought zone like Eric's. As of May 2026, 61% of U.S. cattle were on land affected by drought. When drought dries up Eric's grass, he loses his cheapest and least labor-intensive feed source. So he has to buy feed, which adds to his expenses.
It costs roughly $1,100 a year to run a cow, when it used to cost $500 to $800.
The total operating costs for cow-calf operations jumped 29% between 2020 and 2025. And because it costs more to raise cattle,
I heard it went from 500 to 1,100. But I guess he's saying that in this other time span, in 2 years, it went up 25%. Just to kind of show the I guess the acceleration or this velocity of the increase. I can't think right now. It's late.
ranchers like Eric are more eager to sell off their stock rather than keep some to maintain or build the size of their herd.
You do that all over the United States with this older generation cashing in on a high market. That's a whole lot of cows gone.
That's led to the lowest total herd size in the US since 1951. All of this puts ranchers in a tough spot before they ever sell a single cow. While meat packers don't typically buy directly from ranchers, the selling stage is where their impact on the market becomes clearer. We'll explain. A rancher like Eric sells many of his calves to feedlots, where they go to grow until they're ready for slaughter. After about 4 to 6 months, feedlots sell cattle to meat packers. Roughly 80% are processed by one of the big four. Feedlots base what they can.
80%. That's 4 and 5. For every 5 cows, 4 of them are going to them. And there are only 4 of them, so basically 1 cow to each of them. So in a sense, they each take 20% on their own, and then everyone else is left that other 20%. I shouldn't say I heard. Let me be more precise. I read that in some book, I forget, a long time ago. But I read this line, and it said, if someone can feed you, then they can starve you. And they were saying it in the context of you need to make sure that you can feed yourself, grow your food, basically grow your food. You need to be able to feed yourself without relying on others. And so that's independence. You need to be independent. Or I guess be able to be independent. How about that?
Pay on what they expect to get for finished cattle later. When packers bid lower, what ranchers get paid shrinks too.
I'm a price taker. As a rancher, you're a price taker.
Man, I literally had to pause, but I'm glad I did pause because look at this. Look at that. This is our country. And I'm sure some of you, you live in areas that, yeah, I've seen more impressed, maybe, who knows. But let's just appreciate that if you have been to these places or live in a place like that, you know that in person, something that looks like this is much crazier in person. So in video, it always flattens out. It removes the depth a lot of the times. But when you're there, you get a sense that it's like, wow, this is amazing. Literally rolling hills, prairies, just as far as the eye can see. We should understand that there are not only people outside our nation, our country, who want what we have. There are also people within our country who are just antisocial enough they want to take, because I mean, look at it, this is beautiful, but they want to take and control it and exploit you. To what ends? Well, I think it's subjugation. I think that fiduciary responsibility can sometimes be a Trojan horse. You must make profit at all cost. No, not you must make profit, obviously. That's obviously. But you must maximize profit at all costs. Not even maximize. I mean, okay, granted. But you must grow at all costs in perpetuity. I think that is not only misguided, I think it lacks wisdom, but it's also it's unsustainable. It's impossible without going back to a feudal society where you basically have peasants and then you have just people who have, I mean, we already have that. It's just like we still have some modicum of perceived. I mean, we have some real freedoms, but some of them are more and more perceived. I think at a certain point, a bureaucracy, it grows to a point where it's going to serve its own self-interest. I think that we reached that point a long time ago. I think that it was captured a long time ago. I think that our country has been socially engineered to get us to where we are today. And I think it started around 70 years ago. Honestly, probably they need to control the finance. So maybe that shit started over 100 years ago. We got to solve this one. This goes beyond beef being expensive. I mean, it is, but like it goes beyond that. Everything is more expensive. I don't think things are going to go back down in price.
After the pandemic, meatpacker profits rose. 2 of the Big Four reported record earnings in 2022.
This can't possibly happen in a competitive market.
And during the pandemic, the difference between what a rancher was paid for cattle and the prices meatpackers set.
All right. Choice beef farm to wholesale price spread. Dollars per 100 pounds. Adjusted for inflation. Okay. So in 2012, it was all right. I don't know this between. All right. At some point in this region, it was at 20. It was at 20 it hit 20. It was around 20, a little lower than 20 most of the time. Yeah. Sub 20 from 2012, 2014. Okay, so it's still averaging 20, but it's on the upper side of 20. It's touching 20 a lot, but more on the upper side from 2016. So I'm going to call all of this from 2012 to 2016. It averaged around 20. 2016, it floated. It floated, but it didn't reach 40. And it came back down to 20, went, recovered. Okay, and then it touched 40 in 2018. So let's just say that from 2012 to 2017, 2016, hovered around 20. A lot of volatility, but on the upward trajectory from 2016 to 2018. And then something happened. And it happened everywhere at the same time, which the probability is interesting, What's the probability? What's the likelihood that every country on earth almost locks down, does the same procedure, like just all kinds of changes where structurally these countries, every nation, including ours, our own, are fundamentally different and can allow these types of entities to control them in a way. It's interesting just to see it. Like this is 2020. This is COVID. It went from under 30, let's just say 25, to 90 in a year. And yeah, it kind of crashed, but honestly, I'm seeing 60, but it's been much, much higher than 60. But I'm just saying, like, it's averaging around 60 when you account for this crash down here. This whole thing is pivoting around 60, maybe 50.
Reached its highest peak, all while consumer prices also went up.
Back in the spring of 2020, the meat packing plants were all over the news.
Well, last month we saw a huge price jump at the meat counter.
Meat prices are expected to jump by up to 20%.
We will all be paying more for meat at the grocery store for months to come.
That leap prompted the DOJ to ask if meat packers were illegally coordinating to keep the price they pay for cattle low and wholesale prices high. A wide gap between the two could mean more money for the meat packers.
Is there or was there ever an agreement to cooperate together on issues impacting supply or pricing?
No.
I'm just, it's kind of silly to me watching this. Maybe I should start watching C-SPAN. This is silly to me in a way, because what else would they say? I don't understand. What else would they say? Are they going to say yes? Let me see who this person is.
To cooperate together on issues impacting.
Yeah, are they going to say yes, Representative Scott, Democrat Georgia? Yes, Mr. Chair. We did collude with one another. Yeah, we were on the golf course. We went to a conference. And we all just happened to be there because shit, it's only 4 of us. Industry conference. Yes. Representative Scott, we did. It's like, what the hell is the point of this question? It's honestly, it feels silly. I am glad though. I do understand. I appreciate that. And I'm not being facetious this time, right? I do appreciate that I can see it, right? This is one of the benefits of being an American, living here. And honestly, it's not even being an American because we allow every other country to see it. So anyone can see this. And I'm not really bashing the fact that he's asking the question. It's just the fact that it just feels so silly. Because what else would they say but no? No, we didn't collude. Like, what the fuck?
supply or pricing?
No.
No.
Not that I am aware of.
Wait. Did he say no, not anymore? Did he say no, not anymore? Or did he say no, I'm not aware? What did he say?
No.
Not that I am aware of.
What? Not anymore? Not anyway?
No.
No.
Not that I am aware of.
What did he say? I can't tell. I had to slow it down. I'm sorry, but not really. I'm not. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do here. What did he say?
Outside of the House Agricultural Committee meeting, the
No.
Not that I am aware of.
I don't know what he said, but I'm just gonna take it as a no. Which, yes, that's the right answer. This is one of these things where there is a right and a wrong answer. The wrong answer is anything but no. All right, let's go on. Let's get this back to normal playback speed. There we go.
Outside of the House Agricultural Committee meeting, the companies didn't publicly say much about the matter at the time, and none of the Big Four responded to our request for comment. The pandemic did cause some changes. Labor shortages.
Are we surprised that none of them responded to comment? These publicly traded companies?
Request for comment. Please say much about the matter. Outside of the House Agricultural Committee meeting, the companies didn't publicly say much about the matter at the time, and none of the Big Four responded to our request for comment.
Okay, so after this, none of them said anything publicly after the fact, and this journalist explicitly asked all four of them for comment, and he was ghosted by all four of them to date of this video. These are the four. They each control 20%. They probably don't. One of them is probably much bigger than the other, but like, let's just assume on average, simple average, they each have 20% of the market. So it's 80% total. In reality, it's 81%, but it's just 80%, okay? Are these private companies? Even so, I still have an issue. I still have questions. I have thoughts. I need explanations. But if it's public or publicly traded companies, I'm not sure if it's public or publicly traded. Like, can I call them public companies, or are they publicly traded companies? Right? That publicly traded makes a difference. If it's a publicly traded company, do they have any accountability to Americans? I think I need answers. That needs to be discussed. Because if these are publicly traded companies, I think the public, which is us, we should have a stake and have some means to hold them accountable. Because if they're going to have 20% and be publicly traded, and potentially, our money is in their companies, you're passive investing, you just put it in an index or whatever, and the index is forced to buy the companies because they're a certain size, and that's just how it works. It's the rules. So in a sense, you are funding them, and one of us asked them for a question for some type of accountability, and they ghost. If they're going to do business in our country, they're a United States, one of our state corporations, they should be beholden to us, our laws. And right now, it seems as if it seems like that's not the case, and that's a problem. It needs being discussed. I want answers. Because 80%, that's a lot. 2019, $3.80. Today, $6.86. That's a lot. I just know. Maybe I want to know why.
The pandemic did cause some changes. Labor shortages and plant closures contributed to higher beef prices. The Meat Institute, the primary lobbying group representing the big four meat packers, says other input costs like energy and transportation are also a factor.
Fair.
At the same time, the demand for beef increased.
Because all of us...
Oh, wait. I don't want to just move on from that. Yes, there are these other inputs that went up.
Says other input costs like energy and...
That first one, energy. That's a big one. Energy. Electricity, essentially, right? Power. That went up. Why is that going up right now? Is it going up because it's costing us more to produce the power that we need? Or is it a supply and demand problem where there's an increased demand for it's a finite supply. Let's be real. There's no such thing as infinite energy. There's no such thing for us as infinite power in reality. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna make a sake. It's a weak one, but I'm gonna just put it down loosely. Okay. Oh man. Power right now is facing a supply and demand problem, and it's not like we, the public, have an increased demand for power. Our demand has pretty much been fairly constant, predictable. Okay. Predictable. But these other demands are just out of nowhere, unpredictable, apparently we don't even have the capacity to produce the amount of power needed to satiate the demand of these AI companies. So power, the cost of energy has gone up. There's other energy. There's oil. Well, shit, we're in the middle of a fucking war that was started for, I don't know why. I do know why, but our nation is full of a fucking retards who have voted in these people, and this is where we are. And it's manifesting here in beef prices. And I know it's just like, whoop-de-doo, the beef. But it's everywhere, and it's going to continue. And that should, I don't know, I think that should be a little bit concerning, maybe. Just a little bit. Like, imagine if beef goes up another 80% from 2026 today to 2030. How we feeling then? Here, let's do some math. Do what, another 80%? We're at what, 685. We'll round down. I'm gonna be nice. We'll round down. We're gonna go up another 80%. How we feeling about paying $12.33 for a pound of ground beef in 2030? How does that feel? And this is assuming if inflation remains stable, it doesn't keep going this, but that's not going to happen. So this is probably a minimum this 12.33. This is also assuming that the price of oil doesn't go up. This is assuming a lot of things remain constant, which, you know, that's not life. That's not reality. Not the world. That's only in a textbook, unfortunately. A burger will become very expensive. Right now, if you go to, I don't know, let's say you get a third pound, assuming that, you know, the cost, this is the cost. So just the cost, $4.11 just for the beef. That's before you put in labor, the lettuce, the mayonnaise, the ketchup. Even if you don't put it on there, like, it's baked into the cost, right? It's baked in. The bun, the packaging, the marketing, all of that shit. And that's the cost to the restaurant, to the owner. So they're gonna, you know, they need to eat, feed their families. They got to do that. Uncle Sam, does he need to take so much taxes? Does so many taxes do we need as many taxes? Do they need to be as much as they are? I think that can be discussed. It doesn't seem as if we have a tax revenue problem in this country. It seems as if it's a spending problem. You can't tax your way out of a spending problem. And it's not just that, like, it's other forms of it's other tentacles in the country, in the nation, just siphoning off wealth. This is going to get worse. Your hamburger, just a burger, before you add the fries, at your favorite fast food restaurant, is probably going to be $12. How you feel about paying $12 for your little hamburger? Just a plain hamburger, single patty at Shake Shack, assuming they're still around, you know? And you also have to pay for parking, because you're not going to get free parking anymore. Of course not, assuming you have a car. Maybe you DoorDash it, double the cost. Paying a lot for that burger. I mean, shit, we paying what, $20 now for a burger delivered for Shake Shack? Actually, don't know. I at least drive to get my food sometimes.
Are also a factor. At the same time, the demand for beef increased.
Because all of a sudden we were eating, you know, all of our meals at home in many parts of the country because of the stay-at-home restrictions. And so decrease in supply, increase in demand, prices had nowhere to go but up.
Ranchers had already filed.
Okay, so, all right, more people want meat. I get that. Meat is good. It's good to eat meat. We wouldn't be here without meat. And I mean that literally, us. If you're watching me, you're probably here because your parents were able to survive. You wouldn't be here without meat. You are what you eat. We should want the best quality meat we can get. The best. A5, Wagyu, Akaushi. I made that last one up. I'm rambling here. Okay. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go grab something to drink. I'll be right back. Got to figure out how to get my music going again. I haven't done the stream in a while. So it's a little rusty. Get my brightness too bright. Oh. I don't know why these monitors, for whatever reason, sometimes they'll just stop auto dimming or whatever, and it'll just be bright from when I'm using it in the day sometimes, because the sun is just beams into your eyes. Yeah, we are what we eat. That's what I was raised, being told. I'm sorry, not being said. You know what I'm saying? We deserve, not even should, like, we deserve, it's our right as Americans to eat the best food, the best meat, the best greens, the best fruits, the best grains, the best water, the best air, the best seafood. I want, like, why can't we have the best? The amount of wealth that we've created. We've created so much wealth that it's lifted other nations' peoples out of poverty, and they are now insanely wealthy. America has done a lot. I think we deserve to be able to eat the best food. Now, if you know, like, if it's going to cost $6 and it's the best, okay. I think that's fair. I'm not happy to pay it, but I'm going to say that's fair. And if you want to give other options that are cheaper, that may not be the best, so that maybe, you know, everyone, they can make their own choice. We're free in this country, right? If people want to eat not the best, but I think the best should be $6. I'm fine with that. But we're not getting the best anymore. That's the problem. That's what I take issue with. We don't have the best food in the world anymore. We may have the best cuisines or dishes, you know, arguably some, you know, we have some really good foods, dishes that we've put out into the world. And there could be some competition. I'm not saying because I understand that we would get demolished in some sense by a lot of other countries' cuisines and dishes, but I think some of ours, if we measure it on impact or just how mass adopted they've become, like a McDonald's. And I'm not saying it's good, but what if McDonald's served the best quality meat? And buns made of the best quality grains. And the fries, the best quality potatoes, fried in the best quality oils, preferably cold press oils. Even more preferably, saturated animal fat oils. Or olive, whatever. Just make it a choice. How about that? Let's allow freedom in the country. People can use whatever. It'll be the best of whatever's available. And then we can have ranges. Why can't we do that? But the best is a fair price. Why can't we have that? I want to know. Anyway, let's get back to the video so that we can see why beef is now so expensive.
At the same time, the demand for beef increased.
Because all of a sudden we were eating, all of our meals at home in many parts of the country because of the stay-at-home restrictions. And so decrease in supply, increase in demand, prices had nowhere to go but up.
Ranchers had already filed an antitrust suit against the Big Four the year before COVID hit.
Antitrust. Ooh, okay. Hold on, I gotta do something.
The lawsuit alleged that since at least 2015, meat packers were working together to keep cattle prices artificially low, even as beef prices rose. Tyson responded by saying, as with similar lawsuits concerning chicken and pork, there's simply no merit to the allegations that Tyson colluded with competitors. That case resulted in an $83.5 million settlement with JBS, but the company admitted no wrongdoing. Neither the ranchers' suit nor the DOJ investigation led to major changes to the industry. But fast forward to 2025, and ranchers were getting record high prices for their cattle because demand was high and supply was low. The problem? Like Eric said, it already costs a lot more to raise cattle these days. The other problem? Prices can shift quickly. And that's what happened in October of 2025.
We are working on beef, and I think we have a deal on beef.
President Donald Trump's plan to import more beef from Argentina was meant to increase supply and reduce consumer prices. What immediately happened was that cattle prices dropped because of the uncertainty the announcement caused. After that dip, some ranchers have estimated losing $200 to $300 per cow sold, all while consumer prices remain high.
Whoa. I missed that. I'm sorry. I heard, and then I saw. Ugh. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I said I was going to figure out how to get my music. Can I even do that? One moment. Oh no, I can't. Never mind. Okay. I want to open this in another application, but I don't see it. I'll just copy it. Maybe that'll be enough. And I think it's called Pixelmator Pro. I gotta get out full screen. There we go. Okay, so let's do a new document. Yo, the electrician. What's up? What's going on? I just noticed something. It's funny to me, so I was just gonna put it in here. It's just funny to me, you know. Some things, like it's just interesting, you know. To me. I'm just gonna say, like, some people voted for him. And I know they say you shouldn't judge I know I'm being like very superficial. I get it. You know, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. But I am free as an American to say that I think he's ugly. Look at him. He's ugly. Subjectively. I get it. Subjectively. But to me, look at him. This is supposedly the leader of America. I think we deserve the best. And I don't see the best here. This is not what I'm when I imagine we the best. This is not what I'm imagining, you know? He represents Americans to the rest of the world. We're supposed to be the best. Like, they want us to be the best. Everyone thinks that the world is best is better when we're the best for real, and not just saying just vapidly, oh yeah, we're the best. And just, this is not what I think of when I'm like, yeah, this is the best president, the best anything, the best man, the best example of an American. Let's see if I can get through this video. I want it to be done in 2 hours. Let's see if I can get through this a video. I'll feel like I've succeeded at something.
And I think we have a deal on beef.
President Donald Trump's plan to import more beef from Argentina was meant to increase supply and
wait, it was meant. All right. It sounds like he's setting up. He's setting me up for something. He's setting me up for a letdown. But yeah, he got us some Argentinian beef. As if I guess Argentina has the best beef, but why do they have the best beef and we don't? I have a problem with that as an American. What makes their beef better? If it's something about their soil, okay, all right, sure. I'll concede because I think A5. Kobe. Wagyu. Oh my gosh. I love dry aged at least 28 days, but preferably 45. Oh my gosh. I want that in America for a reasonable price for what it was. But it sounds like he's about to let me down and say, about that Argentinian beef, it didn't work out the way he told you it was going to work out. Let's hear.
Reduce consumer prices. What immediately happened was that cattle prices dropped because of the uncertainty the announcement.
Wait.
What immediately
on beef.
President Donald Trump's plan to import more beef from Argentina was meant to increase supply and reduce consumer prices. What immediately happened was that cattle prices dropped because of the uncertainty the announcement caused. After that dip, some ranchers have estimated losing $200 to $300 per cow sold, all while consumer prices remain high.
So they're now left holding the bag. $200 per cow loss. That didn't sound like a lot, but some of these sometimes numbers multiply. We learned that in school. At least I did. Your times tables. You take a number and then you put that X. Or if you're special like me, you just put the other number and you just move on in life. And you get the other number out and it's a lot bigger. Like it scales it. It's really cool. Let's see. Let's imagine that they're a medium-sized farm and they have 250 cows. I'm not unreasonable. And they're going to lose $200 as a minimum. That's $50,000. Okay, well, shit. How many of you are happy or even able to lose $50,000 a year? Like you're selling your cows and you're losing you're losing money. But you have to do the thing to get fucked up the ass. It's not pleasant, I'm sure. I wouldn't want it. We should feel bad for our farmers. Why is it hard for our farmers to farm and give us the best? I don't think it's the farmer's fault. I think it's a lot of other things, influences getting in the farmer's way. That's what I think. But hey, I don't know. I could be wrong. I probably am not.
All know and love good prices, but after 2014 and 15, we know they can be yanked out from under us so fast.
So this happened in so long ago, 2014, 2015. It's 2026. So it seems as if it may not have happened just once, or maybe they're still healing. Well, it'll never heal that wound. Look how he's sitting. Uncle Sam, they say he has a long one. He'll get you anywhere. Don't mess with Uncle Sam. He don't play. How you looking like this dude? Like, oh man, I'm sorry. This looks like. Oh man, I'm sorry.
And put us back back in the line of almost going broke. I
feel bad for him. I'm not. It was just the pose he was in. All right. His concern, his pains are well founded. I understand, and I feel bad, and I don't think any of my fellow brethren should experience what he's experiencing. We should have the best treat. Like we're the ones. We did it. It's us, our ancestors, not necessarily us. We haven't done anything yet. We have to. I guess we have to recognize. I'm recognizing it is our moment. We have to do it. Who else? All of the people who are currently in power. They're old as hell. We just looked at our president, the person who represents America. What if that actually does represent America? Or at least that's who votes. Represents. I'm sorry. That's who represents who votes. I personally don't vote. I come from a long line of we don't vote. I guess it's not that long when you consider that I am the second person in my lineage to have that right. Well, no, that's a lie. I'm the first person in my lineage to have that right at birth. But I'm also not the only one. My mom, even though they got it. Yeah. Like 5 generations, maybe. Yeah. Fuck it. Down here in Texas. Local. That's what affects me. At least that's what affects us. So, yeah, local, the state, Texas. But for whatever reason, that man, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, he's our president. That is the representative of America. And I think he does, in fact, represent the people who voted. Because our Congress, for whatever reason, they kind of finagle their voting districts to engineer ways that they can conveniently install the people who they want, no matter what. And basically, they only give you two options, except for whatever reason, a year or two ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know, y'all accepted. How did y'all accept the Democratic Party telling you this is your candidate, this is the leader, this is the candidate for the party, you don't get a say? Who the fuck? How did y'all allow that? That was interesting. Y'all just went along with that. That was interesting to me. Why would you do that? They don't get to just tell you this is the person who you will vote for. That's not okay. We're Americans, right? No, that's not how this works. They don't get to just tell you, like, it's a democratic process. They stripped that. And y'all just went along with it. I mean, I guess in a sense, our voting system is really the fault. It's not really the people, really. It's been socially engineered. We have these systems in place, and they seem rigged to me. Because why is it that it's a few people who get insanely rich beyond just, you can't even imagine? Seriously. And their lives are provided for by people like this man. And he has to employ other people like you and me. And what are we getting? Well, I know what I mean, but you know what I mean. But yet, even still, it's still levels, you know? Power. It's a power law. It scales in orders of magnitudes. So whatever you think someone has, just know that there's someone who has 100 times that. And that's easy. And they're competing with other people who have 250 times that. It's interesting.
Right. Gap of baby boomers and a little younger than that are cashing out in this good market.
6 years after the original investigation, the DOJ has announced another probe into the same 4 companies.
These companies now have an unprecedented ability to wield market power.
In a Truth Social post from November 2025, Trump said he asked the Justice Department to investigate the meatpacking industry once again. His reasoning was nearly identical to the first time.
My bad. For whatever reason, my keyboard, it keeps losing focus, and I don't understand why. It's annoying. It's frustrating. I don't know. It feels like my computer is just weird to me. It doesn't operate smoothly anymore. Anyway, I've asked the DOJ to immediately begin an investigation into the meat packing companies who are driving up the price of beef through illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. I love how he writes. Seriously, like, look at this. Like, I have asked, okay, this is all sentence case, normal. Okay, yeah, this is all normal. DOJ, yeah. But then, okay, meat packing companies. These are capitalized. Okay. They're treated as proper nouns. Draw attention. Who are driving up the price of beef in capital and through regular sentence case, and then capital illicit collusion. Capital. And, you know, throwaway. Capital. Price manipulation. See? Capital. This is sentence case American, that's proper, ranchers. Okay, so they're treated with some respect. He put some respect on them titles. And they're being blamed for what is being done by majority foreign-owned meat packers. Oh, okay. Foreign-owned, majority. And that's all capital. Majority foreign-owned meat packers. Okay? Who artificially inflate prices and jeopardize the security of our nation's capital food supply. Action must be taken immediately to protect consumers, that's capital, combat illegal monopolies, all, you know, capital, and ensure these corporations and capital are not criminally profiting at the expense of American people, capital. Sentence case normal. I'm asking DOJ to act expeditiously. Sentence case, thank you for your attention to this matter, bullshit, or whatever. It's interesting how he writes. You can't, it's, you know, he's look ugly as hell, but I'm just saying, like, his writing, even though he writes the dumbest shit, even it's when you actually look at his writing, at least I look at all writing like this, I can't help it. It's just how I see shit. It's interesting how he writes. And if you listen to how people speak and what they do and their little mannerisms, they're all interesting. He has some interesting ones.
The meatpacking industry once again. His reasoning was nearly identical to the first time, accusing the Big Four of driving up the price of beef through illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. Meatpackers maintain.
It's like he wrote it for the nation's intelligence. Okay? Like it's very to the point. And I'm happy. I'm happy that it's to the point. I want it to be to the point, but at the same time, it's so simple. It's just, which is simple is good, but maybe I liked how our leaders in the past, they were a lot more eloquent. And it's because they could be eloquent, because the general population, they had a very strong, a large, they had a very deep vocabulary that they could draw from, and a strong command of the language, so they could express very nuanced ideas that I don't think that we can do anymore. And it may not necessarily be because we're less intelligent. I hope not. Maybe. But I really think it also could be that we have a lot. It's not as cohesive. We used to be more homogenous, even though I know that we used to be, there were not as much, there wasn't as much diversity. How about that? We have to at least acknowledge it. It's a puppet. I don't know. Who's a puppet?
They've still done nothing wrong. In a statement to Business Insider, the Meat Institute said the packers have been losing money for more than 2 years because of record high cattle prices.
So more than 2 years, that means it's not 3 years, but it's going on 3 years. Otherwise, they would have said 3 years. Normally they want to make it out as long as it can be. So they would have said 3 years if possible, but running into 3 years, they've been losing money. And that's $50,000 each year. So it's like they're about to lose another $50,000. And they're like, hey, maybe, like, what's going on? By the way, look at these roads. We should have the best roads, the best pavement, the best Like, it should be lined with greenery, trees. All this should be in a business park somewhere. Maybe this is a business park. Maybe I'm being unfair, you know? Some of these are in industrial parks. So if this is an industrial area, then okay, fine. But maybe we can have a little bit more self-respect and make it look nicer. And it can look nicer. I've seen it look nicer. I've been to a lot of different countries. I've seen much nicer. If we're supposedly the wealthiest country, we should be able to invest in ourselves instead of sending our money elsewhere. No, as sovereign Americans, that's our right. But for whatever reason, so much wealth has been generated, but it just in this little, maybe this is just stock footage. I doubt it, but maybe it is. I'll give it that.
And a JBS USA spokesperson told the Wall Street
Maybe
Journal
I'm just being unfair.
the company operates in a highly regulated industry and is committed to complying with all applicable regulations. Data from the USDA shows that prices ranchers get paid for cattle are generally rising faster than wholesale prices meatpackers charge. Still, wholesale prices are on the rise, and this time around, the Big Four's business partners are suing them as well. Companies like Target, BJ's Wholesale, and McDonald's say there's also collusion and price gouging on their side of the supply chain. This isn't just a legal drama, it's showing up in your lunch. High wholesale prices mean changes in retail too.
Our sort of house burger is a fried onion cheeseburger that is an authentic burger that was made in Oklahoma.
Hamburger America opened in 2023 as an homage to the history of the hamburger.
They were meant to be cheap. They were meant to be affordable.
Burgers at this New York City joint start at $7.75, 25 cents more than they cost last year. The restaurant says it's absorbing the rest of its increased expenses. Its wholesale beef costs are up by more than 20% since 2023.
I mean, we're paying in this restaurant more than double what I started paying, you know, when I my first hamburger restaurant 17 years ago.
Hamburger America sources its ground beef from Schweid & Sons, a small family-owned ground beef processor in New Jersey. Schweid & Sons sources some of its beef from the Big Four, so even small businesses often rely on the larger system.
We work very closely with our supplier to try to maintain the price as tight as we possibly can. They're under pressure also, and they have to pass along their costs.
Andrew is focused on passing as little cost to the customer as possible.
It's very important to us that the hamburger is affordable.
And there are certain things Andrew says Hamburger America will never change.
We won't change our quality, we won't change our sizes at all, you know, based upon rising costs. You know, we will not do that.
So I'm curious, like, I think that's an admirable. I think that's admirable. I can kind of talk right now. I can admire that. How about that? I'll say it that way. But that comes at a cost, and it's costing them their business. So I could imagine that they're running kind of on a tight budget. You know, they're probably trying to keep operating costs low. They're not going to spare the expense on the ingredients and the cooking, the process, the labor, not necessarily the cost of labor, but just training the labor and getting the most value out of what they pay for labor. So they're probably, you know, their cooks and their restaurant workers are probably minimum wage, maybe for their state, maybe a few dollars more. Managers are probably maybe average. I would say, yeah, within that one, at least -1 standard deviation in that range of industry. So the workers, the people who work there, who actually perform the service, and maybe even some of the managers, including the owners, they don't get to take home as much. So their lives are impacted. So maybe they're not able to afford their increasing rent, which, you know, that seems to be the thing these days. Actually, it seems to be going down, or at least here in Houston. Where are y'all at? If you're in America or wherever, are you noticing that rents are down, lower? I'm noticing.
The company's current strategy to avoid raising prices further is a simple one.
We hope to do more business and bring more customers in so that, you know, at the end of the day, we if we do more business, we can afford to sell it at a slightly lower margin.
Okay, so I see their strategy. Okay, they have a strategy. So it's not they're just going to eat it. They have a strategy to make the most of it. You know, they're not going to eat as much, but they're going to eat something, but they're going to make the most or the best of it. So they have a plan to kind of skirt around it. Might get a little touched, but you'll be all right. I hope that works out.
Prices continue to rise, Hamburger America will have to rethink its plan.
Even in this restaurant, since we opened in 2023, our beef prices are up over 20%.
Oh man, 2023, they're only in 3 years? Okay. There's this stat that what percent of restaurants close within their first 5 years? What is that? Half. 60%. So about half. Okay. Well, given that it's about half, I hope that strategy, maybe the strategy is one where they are the half that survives. Maybe that's what their strategy is. Which I think that's achievable. Achievable. Yeah.
I mean, if it went up 30-40% overnight, we might have to have a different conversation.
Oh wait, hold on, wait. How much overnight?
Prices are up over margin. At the end of the day,
is a simple one.
We hope to do more business and bring more customers in so that, you know, at the end of the day, we if we do more business, we can afford to sell it at a slightly lower margin.
Okay, so they're going to try to sell it at a slightly lower margin. Okay. Skimming a little bit less. Okay.
If beef prices continue to rise, Hamburger America will have to rethink its plan.
Okay, he's putting that like, but hey, if them prices keep going up, they're going to have to rethink. So they have a threshold in their mind where they're like, hey, this just isn't going to work. So I'm curious to see how close they're cutting it.
Even in this restaurant, since we opened in 2023, our beef prices are up over 20%.
So it's okay. So in 3 years, beef prices are up over 20%. He said over 20. He didn't say 25 because people like round numbers, 25, 30. So let's say it's like 22, 21. It's under 25%. So we'll say it's 20%. Over 3 years. So let's say he was paying 10, he's paying 12 now. So he's saying if it goes up more than that, or maybe if it continues, let's see.
I mean, if it went up 30-40% overnight.
Okay, if it goes up 30 or 40, he's like, nah, I can't do that. So the thing to watch out for is beef going to go up 30, He specifically named 30. So maybe 30 is going to be when that's just his ears are going to perk up. He's going to be like, wait, just look up what's going on. That's going to be his oh shit moment. And 40 is like he's out no matter what. So right now we're paying 12. 40% from there. I don't know. I can't do that. I can. I can't. It's like 15 or 16. It's one of those. It's somewhere in that range, 15 or 16. He's not going to do that. And that's a lot of money because I wouldn't pay for that. I'm paying a lot for beef. I'm going to continue to pay a lot for beef, but here at home. And that, I think that's going to be, that strategy is very crucial because he has a lot of pressure. He's relying on increase of business in this current economy where I heard that 8,000 people got laid off at Meta, and how many thousands of people got laid off at Amazon or Google? I don't know. I can't keep up anymore. But there've been a lot of layoffs. Certainly, it's over 250,000 layoffs. So to rely on increasing business, I think increasing business relies on increasing people who have money to spend, not decreasing. Because even if there are certain people who have more money, which there are, like there's very much two different economies. They're not going to eat more than one burger for them. You know, they're not going to take the place of the 4 other people who can't afford the burger and eat 4 burgers. It's going to be tough. I see right here, Toast. Do y'all see that? Toast. I think it's going to be hard for them to not be Toast. I think this is foreshadowing for what they're going to be in 2 more years. Or let's say 2 years max. I think that's where they'll be. That's foreshadowing. Toast. Toasted bread. It's done. It's cooked. It's ready to go.
We might have to have a different conversation.
Yep. Different conversation. Take it out.
There are a few things that could lower beef prices. The Big Four could face new regulations.
Oh. Okay, they can regulate them. Okay. Is regulation the only solution we have? Is that the only solution that Congress has? Is regulation? Why do we need to regulate those 4 companies? Why can't it be like, nah, we're not going to just have you 4 companies? You all need to split up. They did it to AT&T, remember? Remember that? I don't know what the average age of the non-existent audience I have here, but AT&T was broken up. So was Standard Oil. Yeah, heard of them? Esso. BP's. Chevron. Like, it's lots of things were broken up. I mean, I don't even mean it. They've reconsolidated over time, but under different names and structures. They follow the current laws, but the laws have loopholes that allow for this, and they're purposely put there. Our elected leaders elected. I think they are complicit. They get rich. They get filthy rich. Usually at the public's expense. I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. I think we need to discuss that. I think as Americans, I'm an American. If you are not an American, that's okay. One of the things that I grew to appreciate when I traveled is how different everywhere is, wherever I went. I like that. I am fine with having my country, my nation. I'm over here. I worry about securing what's best for me, and also knowing and have seen in the past that what works out best for us has lifted the entire world up to a level of wealth that, like, seriously, think about it. If you're watching this, whether you're live or whether you somehow stumble upon this in, I don't know, a YouTube home screen, I doubt it, and you somehow make it to 2 hours and 17 minutes. Wow, I'm over. I'm gonna hurry up. Somehow you make it to here. Just like, think that's YouTube is an American company built on American technology, the internet, the transistor, the computer chip, the operating system. We didn't necessarily invent all of the World Wide Web. That was the UK. They get that. Everyone had significant contributions in Europe, in Asia. So we're allowed to, I see y'all, but right now what's being done to Americans is not right. And Americans deserve better. Especially because look at what the leaders are doing. I don't even want to call them leaders. It's a struggle because they're not leading me. The hell? I don't know who I am, who I am to be led by anyone really, but especially them. The hell? No way. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm over.
Or demand could drop, but
for meaningful price relief, I think we need supply to increase or loosen.
And for supply to increase, ranchers have to be able to afford expansion. Eric says to do so, one thing is crucial: more competition.
We don't need government bailouts. We don't need more government crop insurance or some kind of new cattle insurance. We need to fix the market to put some producer confidence back in this game.
The Meat Institute agrees.
He needs producer confidence. He needs confidence. Himself. I feel that.
That more cows is the answer. It told us that to get there, it supports increased access to foreign markets and easing of regulatory burdens for cattle producers. In a statement to Business Insider, a USDA spokesperson pointed to the agency's Beef Action Plan, an effort to rebuild herd sizes through things like expanding grazing on federal lands and reducing inspection fees for small processors. Eric says if nothing changes, independent American cattle ranchers might be a thing of the past.
All these small towns you drove through to get here, they're drying up. The stores on Main Street are closing.
If you've been to America, or if you live in America and you've been to, let's say, where your parents are from, or where your grandparents are from, or you've just gone out of town on a road trip, you've seen the state of America. You've seen it. I've seen it. Even when I was a kid, I have to admit it, that it's worse now in some places. Some places it's improved. Some places, especially in the middle, it's insane that it's America. The wealthiest nation that once upon a time, these places were beautiful, well kept. Everything was respected. People could afford it. Like all of these ran out of business, essentially. And I don't know if it was necessarily just they weren't providing value. Maybe if you only look at financial value, yes, but I think there's more to the pursuit of happiness for all of us than just money. We need more than money. Yeah, we need more than this. It's sad. Go out if you haven't gone out into, I don't know, the country. Some cool stuff out there. It's not all, you're going to see stuff, but it's not all down. Some things are really cool. You'll see statues sometimes, especially here where I am in Texas, next to a prison, to remind one of those amendments, you're kind of a slave when you're in prison. You're a slave to the state. They're going to ward you. And there's a statue that overlooks it, and I'm going to show it.
And it's because our ag economy, Trump's first.
Go away. Okay, all right, my bad. Okay, so there's a Sam Houston statue, Huntsville. I wonder if I could search in my photos in Apple Photos for just this. And oh my gosh, that's bright. Holy shit. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll just zoom in. Hopefully that'll work. Okay. Yeah, here's the shadow here. So I will take a screenshot. Oops. So you see here, just for scale, these are two normal size human beings here in America. just standing at the base of the base for the statue, where here's the foot up here, up in the, near this tree, near the top of that tree. My bad. My bad. Okay. See that? Here they are. That's for scale. So the statue, these trees are really tall. These are in North Houston. Huntsville. I'll show it on a map soon. There's the statue of Sam Houston. Just there. Okay. Then we'll type in Huntsville prison. Yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah. Prison. Yeah. Here's yeah. So you got Huntsville. I'll pull up the map. Okay, so here. All right, so here's Houston. Huntsville is up here. Okay. And on 45, there's going to be a whatever the hell, what do you call that thing? The statue. It's in this area, and they're within 2 miles. They're quite close. Well, let's keep going.
Administration, the Ag Secretary said, well, get big or get out.
Sound familiar?
Uh-oh.
You cannot consolidate a market without bad repercussions, and we're living it. The older generation is like, I can't do this. The younger generation is like, I'm not working that hard for no pay. My hope for the future is we give this next generation a chance to ranch and not be controlled.
I think that's a fair ask, and it's deserved. We deserve it. Secretary Rawlins knows firsthand that the backbone of the world beef supply is the American rancher. That's why she's been working diligently to enact policies and programs and to cut red tape to support the ranching community so they can rebuild our record low. Oh my gosh. Just if you've been watching, hopefully, maybe, for a while, and you were here for my Trump rant, and then I had to at least praise his writing. I read this, and I'm wondering, it's like, who wrote this? There are levels. There's levels to this, and this is not the level that we witnessed, if you've been here. If not, maybe I'll clip these. Who knows? Maybe. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's finish this. Oh, okay. That was done. Okay. All right. Good job. Wait, hold on. I need to get my MPC set up so that I can give applause easily. I can't give up now because I've waited too long to give up. So we're gonna find it. But I'll give you this. I'll give you a hint. I'm looking for a sound that I think. Well, I'm drawing one of these, so I guess that's gonna be it. Yep, I guess that's it. So I'm about to be out. It's late. I've gone over by a lot, so hopefully you've enjoyed the live stream. If you have, give it a thumbs up. That will help if you're on YouTube. And if you like, subscribe. You can drop comments if you like. But yeah, I'm out. How do I end this? Peace.